When does the voting begin? Do we know when the parameter voting for
I think we have I think in a month. Does anyone here know exactly the date where the voting starts for Commons upgrade?
Tom yesterday was mentioning we should start doing debates at the half the next month, like in 30 days, more or less. But
okay.
Yeah, I like the idea is to the dashboard is to implement it, and you do user testing. Meanwhile, we are doing the parameters proposals. So they think they can get better engagement that way, because right now they are struggling with that.
Okay, because let me see if I can have Tom's. She sent me the schedule today, this morning, because I wasn't attending the meeting. So we are on sprint 18, and which started yesterday, and sprints last 2 weeks. And we could, she suggested to finish the terms between this sprint and next sprint, which would be we have a month. But in the event we don't finish, we could move it forward another sprint, which would be reaching the end of October, right? But because we have to have it ready after the Commons upgrade, not before the Commons upgrade, because people's not going to be able to use the bonding curve until
bonding curve until it's upgraded.
There is no bonding curve, right? So the real critical time is once we have upgraded. So we have a month, which I think we could make it in a month, and in the event we need some more time, we still have room to do it in the other sprint. All right.
That's 2 or 3 meetings, so that should be.
Yeah, that's 2 meetings. Every one. We have a meeting every sprint, but in the event we need another one, we could meet, in one of those Fridays that we don't have meetings. So if it's needed, so we will see. All right. So let me share my screen here, and we'll go over the hello for the ones that just joined, Griff and Chui. Let's see, screen. Two concerns form. Live. You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the original document that you were making comments on. I'll try to keep an eye on mine. So initially, there is a description of the bonding curve, and as long as I've read, there is no. I think it describes basically what it is. I don't know if here, but I don't know if it's got to be here, but somewhere we have to mention the taxation when people leave the bonding curve.
So I added a part, or at least I highlighted a part down below, Santi, where I think, and it may make sense to add it elsewhere, but I added a point further down where I thought we need to talk about, any entry costs and exit costs.
Okay. I would change mint instead of create and burn here. So do we want to go all together over this and we throw our comments? Especially Griff, if you can pay attention here. Bonding curves offer a new way to enable liquidity. Traditional exchanges work by matching buy and sell orders in a bid and ask model. Traditional exchanges use order books. I would say that because they still exist. They use order books or a matching engine to fulfill trades.
It's weird because it's weird because I'm editing it, but they're not coming up on. It's not.
Coming up on right. No, here.
Am I in an old? I must be on an old one.
Yeah, you're on an old one. I messed up. Let me give you the link here. Let me post it here on legal again, and I'll try to make sure I delete the old one. I was doing the same mistake. Here, going into this one.
Perfect.
One of the agenda is the correct one, but I just posted it on the legal working group channel.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I'll just edit. I'll just edit during the call. I mean, it looks, the older one looked really good.
Okay. Yeah, this is basically the same one with Sean comments. My comments are in the older one, in the one you were editing, and I'll try to bring those to this document too. All right. Now, description of all right, that's description of the bonding curve. TEC token will act as a medium of as a medium to interact with the TEC ecosystem. The TEC token based on a network, the emission of tokens, the minting of tokens is governed by a DAO under Aragon Gardens framework. Is this correct, Griff?
I would say, yeah, I would say One Hive instead of Aragon, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gardens. Okay, framework TEC token will be minted in two main phases. The initial token distribution event and the TEC augmented bonding curve. Initiation bonding curve. Maybe we can bonding curve deployment TEC tokens will have no cliff or vesting period. The bonding curve deployment TEC tokens. What do you mean by this, Sean? The bonding curve deployment TEC tokens?
So what I meant by that is that when the bonding curve is launched, people that buy from the bonding curve don't have cliff investing. There is cliff investing, but that's for the people that had that initial distribution of tokens.
Right. Okay.
So we need to talk about that. Yeah, there is vesting, there is cliff issues, but it's not for people that are getting tokens off the bonding curve. It's for that first distribution of tech tokens.
And do you think it's worth mentioning it since it won't be implemented on the bonding curve? Because maybe it's my personal sense is okay. Go ahead.
So the two thoughts are no, because it has nothing to do with the bonding curve. But if I'm interacting with the bonding curve, I do want to understand the distribution of tokens that exist beforehand and any limitations that are there. So I erred on the side of more information rather than less. We can redirect somewhere if that makes sense to say, look, with things involved with the initiation of the tech token, go see this document and send people somewhere else so that it doesn't bog down the bonding curve discussion. But I just thought it was probably best that they understand that there are some other tokens that exist before the bonding curve happens, and those tokens have limitations on them.
There is a weird thing that the tokens that are created initially are created by the bonding curve. So, I mean, it's a technical thing, and I really don't necessarily think that these technical things need to be whatever, but maybe it could be less prescriptive on the stuff that's in the bonding curve. It should just be like, when interacting with the bonding curve directly, the tokens have no vesting requirements or lockup times. But, maybe, I don't know, I feel like it might be fun to just put on music and hack on this document. I don't know if, like, we have so many people here. Like Ivy's going for it. I kind of just want to go for it.
Just do. What is the bonding curve based on?
It's Bancor.
Banker?
Yep. Okay, you want to go through the highlighted things and just...
Yeah.
I can definitely get links. And I can add a little bit more history to it too. Well, or at least I can add a link to Sem's blog post, which has a really nice history of it. Like first Bancor, then Aragon Black, then One Hive, now the Common Swarm. You know, it's like...
I know it sounds a little silly, but I really like that, Griff, because people interacting with stuff for the first time, look, you're going to have some amount of degens that are just not going to, like, they're never going to read any of this. But I do think that if people want to understand, that little bit just goes a long way in helping them kind of understand. This is how we got from Bangor to Aragon to One Hive to here. And so I think it helps people that are interacting with it for the first time.
Yeah. Sem's blog post is really good. I think it's worth linking. But I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that there's a practical limit. It's just because it doesn't asymptote out. It will just go up forever. It just goes up at a decreasing rate. But not in a way where it has a practical limit, like a cap. It really just kind of just goes up slower and slower.
But even if it's not used, like say the entire thing bottoms out to like no one interacts with the bonding curve, isn't there still, like, yes, I get that it continues to increase, but isn't it increasing towards a limit? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
no,
that's an asymptote. So like for the hatch, when we were doing the hatch impact hour rate, that we were setting an asymptote. But for the bonding curve, the formula is just something with an exponential. So as it just takes more and more collateral to mint the same number of tokens, but there's no asymptote. It can continue to grow forever, just at a slower and slower rate.
Thank you, and that's why people should not just look at the highlighted stuff. Like, please read every sentence, because me translating what I understand of bonding curves into a document is
Well,
yeah, maybe
there are bonding curves that do that. It's just not Bancor.
Right.
Do you think it'd be worth to add the drawing of the curve?
When we have it, I mean, in the end, we don't know what the parameters are yet. It's that same game that we had last time.
Maybe we should post here add the drawing.
No, we can even add just a simple Excel spreadsheet that people can play with, or I mean, actually, honestly, there's the dashboard. Linking to the dashboard when it's there.
And give them the dashboard, and as long as it's clear that, give them the dashboard, and as long as it's clear that the parameters are not yet set, but this is what the dashboard gives you the chance to see the different iterations that are possible.
Yeah, it's really cool because the dashboard lets you add steps, and you can step through the bonding curve and experience the bonding curve at any point. So it's pretty cool. And it might be interesting that when we have it set, maybe we like fork it and make a set where you can't change the parameters. That would be interesting. I mean,
because probably many people is not going to be able to understand or read what every single parameter means. All they want to see is how the curve evolves on depending on the amount of tokens minted. That's all they care. If there's an asymptote, or there's as you mentioned, it keeps growing but at a slower pace, and basically get to know how it's going to react depending on the amount of tokens that are minted.
Generally, the concept is reserve ratio that people use. and this reserve ratio says, if it's 25% and you put in $1,000, the market cap goes up $4,000, right? And it's this reserve ratio, and so, it that ends up being held.
Okay. So here's what you here's where you were posting about the tax, Sean, right here where I'm highlighting.
Yeah, I thought it would make sense there to talk about, and the order of things should probably be changed around a little bit, but and to the extent that there's a discussion about TEC tokens before the Commons upgrade, whether or not there's a minimum number of tokens in existence, which I guess it depends if, the rage quit period has ended, right? So we know the minimum number of tech tokens there are. Like, if no one ever interacted with the bonding curve, we know what the minimum amount would be. And then we should probably discuss. Go ahead.
When the vesting is over, technically the minimum amount of tokens is 0. Every token could be sold into the bonding curve. So but there will be a lockup. All the TEC hatch tokens will be locked up for a period of time, and that will be a minimum, which effectively creates a price floor, which is very interesting. And then the price floor decreases.
But during a period, only during the vesting.
Only the token freeze is what we call it. Token freeze and token thaw.
Right. During the freeze, there is a minimum, and then as the thaw kind of happens, in theory, it starts decreasing down, and then the project either continues on or it doesn't.
Well, the price floor decreases, but the price could be going up like wild.
Correct. Yes, I agree. The price at that point, as thawing occurs, is more dependent on the actual project at that point, and not the coins that are frozen. Anyways, I thought that discussion should go here. I just wanted, if that makes sense, then I'll start writing that up. Try to get that down to like a paragraph, what we just said.
Okay, so all these 4 sentences could be. Will you just try to write something regarding the tribute and the tokens that are frozen for a period of time, especially those that have been minted, and
tribute. That's the previous params is set, right? That the in and out. No, it's not, right?
So we don't have it's again everything that you discuss that you're writing here. We're gonna have to fill in the blanks because
no, that's no problem. I can either draft it and say here is what it is, because it's a document that really matters after the parameters are done, and so I'll just leave blank. Boom, boom, boom. We fill it in once we know.
And the interesting thing is that we should also say that they are subject to change by the DAO, because every parameter could. The commons tribute can't be changed, but the entry and exit tributes will evolve over time.
I pretty much add that towards the end of every single document we've done here, which is, this is all subject to the community liking this, and pretty much anything can change.
Okay. Should we jump into the terms and conditions?
Yeah, I've just been scanning this. This is such a beautiful document. I think this is going to be forked for a lot of bonding curves. I'll be honest. This is really nice.
There's a lot going on here, and I put links where I thought they made sense to put links. But please hack away at this and add comments, and I will keep going through. The only thing the biggest problem I have with what I drafted is I want to make sure it is consistent with some of the other terms and conditions we've drafted, just with some of the language. Obviously, the stuff that's bonding curve specific here is unique, but every time I've gone through and kind of done these terms and conditions, like different ideas kind of go through my head, and then I write it a little different than I did the time before. and there should be more, like a little bit of a smoothing between other documents, which I haven't had a chance to really do yet. But all that stuff is really at the margin. It's not substantive changes. It's like language changes. Everything else, please hack away, wreck it, comment. It does not hurt my feelings.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the point number 2, I don't think there's anything you have to do with the wallet, right? Griff? At least not on MetaMask. Should we make a reference only to MetaMask and Trust Wallet or any wallet?
I think it's fair to recommend MetaMask at launch. I think that's fair, because all the documentation and all of the like videos and everything will always just be showing MetaMask. Any kind of instruction stuff that we do will all be with MetaMask.
Plus, will the site be would support any other wallet besides MetaMask? Trust Wallet.
I'm sure it will. I don't know. I can't remember. Let me see if we have onboard.js. I'm sure we will. I don't know what we'll have at launch, but it's so easy to support other wallets with onboard.js that it's like I don't know why we.
Okay. But anyway, you don't need to do anything to use the bonding curve on the wallet side.
I want to make sure there was no accounts that people were imagining being set up or anything. That doesn't make any sense anyways, but I never know. And some bonding curves do have this like registration process to interact with it, but I don't think we have that going on here. So it'll just be a recommendation to use MetaMask and a sentence on how to add the tech token, through MetaMask in terms of interacting with the contract. But
and honestly, you don't even technically need to add the token.
Oh, great!
Right.
You can interact with the Dapp. The Dapp will know that you have it in your wallet.
Correct.
You just don't
wouldn't see it in the MetaMask. Yeah.
You don't get that warm fuzzy feeling of like, oh, I have it.
Well,
but,
you have to go to the Explorer to see it.
And people like me that interact with stuff where I'm like, why don't I see this stuff in my MetaMask? And then you go to an exchange and then it's like, oh, here's all the stuff. It is seen. It's just it's really on the MetaMask side.
Totally.
On it. Yeah, I get it. I agree.
Yeah, and down below you also mentioned that it's on the MetaMask side. It's not on us, and we have nothing to do with that. And that is clear.
Yeah, and if you want to see the actual bonding curve site that we have right now, it's just convert.tecommons.org. It's not attached to a bonding curve or anything, but at least I don't think it is. Maybe it is. And right now it looks like we're only enabling. It looks like we're not using onboard.js. Oh, it is attached to a bonding curve. Interesting. Convert.tecommons.org. I'll put it in legal too. And it basically just looks like Uniswap. It's a super simple website. And it looks like I have some test TECs. So that's interesting. And then we have this checkbox, but I would like to, of course, add that to I understand this is, instead of saying this is a demo, we say, I agree to these terms and conditions. And so you might even have the tokens. If you don't, I can send you some.
Yeah, I do have some. It's not. Yeah. So
these are.
Does it work?
It works. You should be able to sell them for test honey.
Convert. It's not highlighting the button because it's too
you have
low.
to check the box. You haven't signed the terms and conditions.
Oh,
check the box on the bottom.
What is? No. Oh, there we go.
Oh, it doesn't look like it's working though. No, I don't think it. I don't know if it's working.
No, it's minting, but it doesn't seem to go through.
Yeah, it fails.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you can get an idea of what's happening. Oh, you know why it fails? Because these tokens are non-transferable. I think.
Oh, the test ones.
Yeah. I think that.
Okay.
I think these are. I think. Yeah, that would probably make sense.
I sent you some. I remember. Test tokens.
Right. How do you send them if they are not transferable?
I mean, I sent them to Griff. I remember. We were in the
Send test honey.
No, test TEC.
Well, maybe I'll try to do the other way with the honey, but the transaction just fails.
Anyway, let's keep moving. Create your electronic wallet. TEC does not control your wallet. When using the site, you can choose to use a wallet provided to external service providers. With your wallet, you can store it and engage transactions. Please note that your wallet is under sole responsibility and will always remain under your sole control. TEC has no access to your wallet nor any control over its use. And accordingly, TEC has no ability whatsoever regarding the use of the wallet or any crypto assets held and controlled through a wallet. TEC will not be able to assist you on regarding access to your wallet in case you lose access to your wallet. The access to your wallet or any crypto held in it is available only with the access information code issued to you when establishing the wallet, which commonly consists of 12-word mnemonic phrase, count, key store, JSON file, and our private key wallet access information. TEC does not see, track, save, or okay, this is all the information avoiding our liability on the use of the wallet, which I went over, and it seems to be clear to me, at least. Anyone else can add their comment. Yeah, there's the taxation or the tribute here. Whenever we have it, I'm just going to highlight this.
So yeah, I would love to avoid the word tax.
I know. I was using tax because I forgot the name. I know. Tribute. I hate that word.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's marketing more than anything. I don't know if taxes have legal implication, but tribute is the word that Mulek actually uses, and so we're just using that framing.
Starting to have issues with the memory of my computer. Okay, see it here.
So, I actually would like to hear the crowd's opinion on this one sentence. The TEC will not be able to assist you in regaining access to your wallet in case you lose your keys. So, we're actually, technically, we could vote to burn and remint tokens for people if they lose their wallet. So, I think it's fine to say that in the terms and say, like, there should be no expectation of us doing that, but it is technically feasible, and we're literally doing it right now.
I know, but I think we should avoid. I think even if we do it, if we, on the terms we mentioned, that we will not do it, or don't have to do it, or don't have the responsibility of doing it, it's the right way to go. Because otherwise, I'm thinking on the worst case scenario, someone that's trying to cheat on us.
But we can in one transaction we burn their tokens and remint in another. But the thing is, they would have to somehow prove that it's their address and not someone else's, and there's some complications. But we are able to assist.
Our tokens.
That's it. I think that's a small distinction. Is the sentence says, we can't help you get access back to your wallet because the wallet is the user's sole responsibility. The tokens in that wallet, there's no discussion of that. And yes, I get if they are able to demonstrate that there was some issue there, I get it. You can burn, create. I get that. But I think this is saying, I lost my MetaMask password. I'm screwed, you know, or I can't move my JSON file from one computer to another, you know, help me out. With that stuff, we can't do.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I also agree with Santi. It's better not to say anything, and it's not possible or whatever. And then if we do it, it's okay. We don't have legal implications. And yeah, and right now it's easier for us to do that because we have the curated list. But in the future, it might be much more complicated.
Plus, there's implications that go beyond our token. It's like that scam that token. That airdrop, fake airdrop that Binance users were getting on Binance Smart Chain, and they were sending you to the airdrop page. And if you click to claim the airdrop, they just take everything from your wallet. I mean, you are interacting with a fake airdrop. Imagine someone fakes our bonding curve page, and people goes there and they go to the fake one and they get all their stuff stolen from the wallet. You know,
This is off topic, but I did bring it up in a previous legal call. Are we going to... The only way to take down sites like that is if we have some sort of trademark or copyright. Is that in the works at all? Are we considering that as something we should do?
So trademark, I don't think you have to do anything. You don't technically have to register a trademark to have a trademark. So there's a whole, at least under American law, there's a whole subset of trademarks that are unregistered. And our ability to protect those trademarks does not require any affirmative action on our part.
But we have to be able to show it to Google or show it to a hosting provider. So that whoever is hosting the fake website, if we send them paperwork that says we have this trademark, they will take down that website.
Well, what evidence, and again, I've never had to do this with Google, so I'm not saying this flippantly. Like, if it's possible to say, look, here's our registration of the TEC website, I would imagine that might be sufficient for Google to say, yes, that's yours. If what Google needs is official, filing a trademark information, then that's more complicated. I don't know if a DAO yet can officially go. A person can grant a license to the DAO. I don't see why they couldn't do that. It must be the same way that foundations do that.
That would be what I would suggest, is that the legal working group is stewarding the trademark, and it would only be used for website takedowns. But I had to do this with Giveth. Like, I didn't really want to register a trademark. We were a non-legal entity, but we had to, you know, for these takedown requests. So I don't know. It's off topic though. I just wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, we can consider that. So
because if you think about it the other way around, if someone forks our website and then puts it up, then they could tell Google we're the scam.
Yeah, right. Right.
It's other than having, you know, any documentation that can demonstrate when a website is created. I don't know what Google needs, you know, and I agree that like something formal like a trademark obviously helps, you know, and probably cuts down the red tape time on that regard.
Even if they register, I don't know, token engineering commons with with misspell it, and they say we are another site and we have nothing to do with the other one.
Well, I think Google would still, what's that called? It's called like misspelling squatting or something like that. I think generally speaking, that's pretty much the definition of a trademark, which is, does it confuse consumers? And a misspelling is like going to fall exactly in that wheelhouse of, yeah, it's purposely being done to like create confusion. Like if I create a place called, in New York City called Yankees, but I spell it with a Z, people are going to get confused and think it's related to the Major League Baseball team, and that's why they'll get mad at me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fees and payments. The tribute here, all transactions are on XDAI blockchain are subject to fee gas, which is made on XDAI and transferred internally into the system. To facilitate transactions on the blockchain, you will have sufficient amount of XDAI. When using the content, you are able to construct and determine at your own discretion the parameters you wish to apply to the conversion of TEC tokens. The actions you wish to execute will be subject to those parameters you applied. Such terms may be applicable to each case individually. Will be reflected and expressed on the conversion ratio. Formulas of an outcome of your actions by using the content your intrinsic risk regarding your use of content.
Really, what I want to say here is, if you decide to buy 1 million TEC tokens, you're the one that makes
your
the
own
decision.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
no one's telling you to do it. No one's told you to do it.
Right. And if the conversion rate is this, you're the one clicking the button and understanding that that's a conversion rate. And
exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
If the bonding curve goes nuts and charge you 20 XDAI for each TEC, it's your own business.
And section 5 is just, we've had this in a few of our documents, which is, hey, look, follow the rules. If you're using this, if you're somewhere that says you can't do this, then don't do it.
Yeah, this is all the unlawful, and this is right. I remember seeing some of those on the other documents.
Should we exclude? Should we just say if you're from the United States or North Korea or some other crazy country like that you can't use this thing?
So that, it does say that. It says if you're in a jurisdiction that doesn't let you interact with this. If you want to be more clear and say, look, if you are in, the United States, North Korea, there's a few other places that I've seen in other documentation that like lists out. Well, yeah, Ethereum and North Korea have a great relationship. I'm happy to add that. Just put a note in there, and I'm happy. That's no problem.
Yeah, because technically people in the U.S. are allowed to do it. It's that, the SEC says that, like, the organization is not allowed to interact with their cattle.
Well, it's arguable. Yeah, I would make the argument that I think this is different, but I agree that if we could even say, look, if you think it's a close call, don't interact. If you're from the United States, or this country, this country, this country, this country, I'm happy to just make a note. That's what you want, and I will go through and add that.
Where should we put that? Here on this section 5?
Yeah, and the rules of use. Yeah, 5.
I want to think about it before we do it.
No, I was just going to add a highlighted text mentioning it in the event we want to add it.
Yeah, I will ask around. I don't know. Does anyone else talk to any other orgs?
I know a couple do specifically say, hey, if you're from the U.S., don't do it. And I'm relatively sure Bancor's agreement may say it. Relatively sure.
Yeah, I would believe that. And we have it on. We have a bunch of issues on our GitHub from back when we investigated all these bonding curve projects that have a lot of links to their terms and conditions. And I would definitely look to see what countries are excluded in all of those.
The hard thing is, Griff, is in the U.S., right? We're very clear which countries you can't interact with, right? If you're running a business, you can't interact with Iran, you can't interact with North Korea. There's limitations in, say, Belarus or something like that. But if we're in Belarus, they have their own set of rules about who you can and can't do stuff with. So I like the specific language, but I don't think we should take out any general stuff because it's really going to depend on where the user is interacting, right?
First that, and second, those countries are gonna keep changing, and we should take care of the document and update it every time. And I don't know if we want to do that. If we want to have to take care of that.
Well, it may say repeating the community may update this document, but also these countries may change. So keep yourself aware as well.
The real thing is we're not going to actually honor. I don't know if it should be in there because we're not going to block IP addresses. So, like, is it just words and it doesn't really even matter to say that because we're not going to put in any effort to actually avoid people engaging?
Well, I guess that's the same.
Who knows?
It's the same than when you mentioned that you have to be over 18 and they don't check anything else. They just let you answer that question and let you in or out depending on your answer.
Yeah, and we don't know what the future holds, right? I mean, it is, I guess, in theory, possible that somewhere down the road, someone's going to say, hey, look, maybe not on the smart contract side, but on the interaction with the website side, we will whitelist and blacklist things, right? Because isn't that what Uniswap ended up doing, I think, with some synthetic assets, is you can't interact with it if you go to the app.uniswap.org, but if you go to the smart contract, you can still do it. They didn't change the smart contract, they just changed. So, I mean, that's in theory, we may get guidance that says that's the best way to do it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, who even owns the TEC domain? I think right now the Trusted Seed kind of owns it, which is a Swiss association. So the Swiss association can engage with anybody, basically. I don't know. Sorry, we can keep going.
No, that's
we've had this exact conversation before on other stuff, Griff. It's worth it to keep thinking about it because I don't think we have a best practice about this yet. I don't think anyone does. So.
Yeah, it's annoying.
and in fact, that's what this next paragraph is basically a long description of, hey, look, for whatever reason, we may not make the site available to you. Somewhere down the line for reasons we don't know at the present. And that's just the way life is. So, again, we may find out from some regulatory body that if we can make changes to the website side, even if we don't change the smart contract, if we just have to make changes to the website side, that's very easy to do. I mean, that stuff is not hard. And that's what this whole paragraph is for, is, look, you may not be able to interact.
Thanks for linking the privacy policies up.
Yay.
This paragraph, Griff, I think kind of goes over what we just talked about, which is, to the extent it's possible, the TEC, or people that grant licenses to the TEC, own the copyrights, the trademark, and, we have control to the extent that we do over stuff like that, and that we don't have control over any third-party stuff that we interact with. So we can't control other people, but we do have control over our stuff.
So these risks and presentations and warranties. That is what you're mentioning here. The law could change, and we would have to either change the rules or put down the service or whatever, right?
Yep. I mean, everything from like small stuff to like you may get told to take the entire thing down, and all the smart
Right.
contract runs in the background somewhere, but everything else gets taken down.
It's even a computer viruses section. That's fun. Where did you score a lot of this content from? What's the base?
There were a couple of white papers I read that had some of this that were using bonding curves. Bancor was probably the biggest one, and they just seemed like the one to use. Just and so that's probably the biggest one. But I looked at a few other white papers too, and so that's kind of the breakdown of it.
I mean, Bancor had raised $150 million when Ether was like cheap, so I'm sure that they paid lawyers. So that's a good base. In fact, were they Swiss as well? Did they have a Swiss entity, or were they Israeli?
I think they were wrapped in a Swiss. I think they were wrapped in a Swiss wrapper. Yeah.
Nice. This is fantastic work, really. This is really nice.
Yeah, I saw these probably because you copy and pasted this extra paragraph, Sean, because everything is highlighted on capital letters, and then this one is on lowercase.
Yep, great catch. Yep. And if anything, probably should even be maybe even a separate paragraph.
Yeah, probably, or another document,
yeah.
or.
And I've been practicing since like 2004, and I still don't understand why some stuff has to be in capital letters. Like, part of it is like the law. Like, there's a couple of laws in California that say certain clauses have to be capitalized, but some of it is just practice. Like, it just becomes such habit that we just do it without even thinking about it.
And there was on the other document that I was editing, you were making reference to Bancor somewhere, and I changed that. I will have to check. I don't want to mess around right now.
This is the one that I made edits to. I saw that, Santi, and then made edits. So if this is the one I was making edits to, that should be already out. It should be.
Okay.
But I'll double check. And then I don't know if people are going to translate this into other languages. And I guess, over time we may see who interact and may want to do that, or people in the community may say, hey, can we get, a Spanish version of this or a French version of this? So I just have a line in there that basically says, hey, look, right now everything's in English and all the meaning is meant for English. But we should consider at some point down the line, depending on what people want, translating stuff into other languages.
Mm-hmm. So let me know when you update it, Sean. I will go over it during next week a couple of times to make sure everything that I checked on the other document is included here, and if not, I'll add it. And hopefully by next meeting, we probably should be able to have the document almost done, except for adding those parameters that will be voted when we upgrade.
Yeah, it'll be like the hatch terms that we just had blank for a while.
Is this sentence here, the ownership of tokens, is that to prevent someone using someone else's tokens, getting into their computer and using them?
Yeah, this is just any malicious use of someone using someone else's token.
I see your computer there, I jump into your computer and I use your Metamask with your tokens. Okay. Okay. All right, we'll leave the treasury discussion for the end of the next meeting. I want to make sure we go over this document, which is more important than the other one. But anyone can take a look at the initial thoughts that are included in that document. It's the link is on the agenda.
And Santi, just let me know when you're done with your review, and then I'll jump back into it later next week.
Sure, I'll send you a note. I'll send you a note on Discord to let you know, and after that, when you finish this initial, description of the bonding curve and all that you were gonna work on, I'll take a look at it too. We will decide on the excluded countries also, and there was at the beginning of the terms, before the terms, that section that we discussed initially that about the bonding curve here, the tribute and all that.
One thing I'm noticing is that a lot of things are written in like future tense, and I think this document will only be read after the bonding curve has been launched, so we don't have to actually write in future tense, and we can just assume, at least for this document,
it will be present
that the bonding curve has been launched and people are clicking the button to actually buy into it.
Yeah. If you want, if someone just makes that comment up at the top, convert to present tense, that'll, once we're right at the end, I'll make sure I'll go through and only use for future tense where it's necessary.
Yeah. I really like the description of a bonding curve. It's very quick and to the point, very clear. It's really nice.
I know you guys that have been dealing with it for, pretty much since it was first, thought about, understand it to such a degree where, to me, I still feel like I'm learning things about how a bonding curve works. So I'm hoping other people, can use those sessions to kind of get up to speed, because it's surprisingly complex.
Yeah. But it's also surprisingly simple.
Yes, the operation is surprisingly simple. Like, I think but sometimes when I look at the math of some of the concepts behind it, it's just like, wow, I am so far behind, getting this.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised at the math behind making coffee.
Right. No, absolutely, right. Like, so finding a way to kind of describe it it's an interesting challenge.
Okay, we're at the top of the hour. I will review it probably during the weekend, Sean. I'll send you a link when I'm done. Anyone who wants to add any comment or suggest any change, just do it, and we will see it on the comment. And from there, we can, if we keep adding stuff during the week, we can just iterate through it, and we will go over the final document on the next meeting.
One thing that I think would be nice is to get Nuggin involved in this. He's doing all the math. He has a very good grasp of all of the math behind the bonding curve, and would probably like to add that technical layer of like, this is what the formula is. This is like, the parameter.
Nice. I'll get in touch with him. Okay.
Okay.
Great. All right. Thank you all for attending. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. You're welcome.
Thank you.
See you later.